And welcome to the first ever the Run.down by the Strickland over here on the Strickland Podcast Network. Um I got Tyrese here with me at London's Theory on Twitter, and we're gonna break down some key takeaways that we saw from tonight's game versus the 76ers. So Tyrese, let's get into it. Tell us up to people first, I guess.
What's up? What's up? How's it going, everybody?
I think one main takeaway I think that we can first let's get into like a brief recap of the game. I guess we can like go over like the flow of the game, what happened. So obviously the Knicks got off to not obviously, but we saw the Knicks got off to a hot start. Um and we saw RJ get off to a really good nice start.
Yeah, he scored 19 in the first half.
Yeah,
The Knicks
continuing
were,
his
yeah,
continuing
uh,
his trend of like high scoring halves as we saw against like Miami as well. You want to say something?
yeah. So he came up with 19 in the first half. The Knicks were ahead for the entire first half. Um, the offense was moving. Julius came through as well. I think he put up 14. So like the two top guns in the team were playing well. Um, and yeah, like the first half went pretty solid. I think they were getting stops on the Sixers. Like the Sixers weren't hitting their threes. They kind of stifled Embiid a little bit. I want to say they slowed him down, but like they definitely stifled him. I think the only person who was like really hurting them was Harden, and then the second half hit, and they forgot how to play basketball once again, which
Yep.
has kind of been the norm of this team.
And like when it gets to that point in a season
You're
where the
muted.
same thing keeps happening over and over and over again, um, it comes down to coaching. I think at
No,
that
Sam,
point,
you're muted. Okay.
it comes
Oh,
down to
oh, okay.
coaching.
My bad.
It comes down to coaching at this point when you see the same patterns developing over and over and over throughout a season. Like we keep seeing the same thing happen every single game. I think the only thing that's changed recently is like less of the offense being stagnated from RJ and him being able to still get his own, but like most of the same issues and patterns that we've been seeing since the beginning of the year continue to persist. And like if the coaching is not going to change it at this point, then like you just got to accept that this is what it's going to be for the rest of the year, sadly.
Yeah, it was just I don't know what the logic is behind starting Alec Burks still. Um, like you're past 60 games, you're 12 games under 500. I don't know how you can look at Alec Burks starting as like a legitimate option anymore. Um, if he was like if Alec Burks was cooking, I could get it, but like Alec Burks has been not good, and you could tell Alec Burks himself looks overextended. So like, if he looks overextended, the numbers aren't like there's no winning involved. I don't know how you could keep going back to it, but Tibbs has been really questionable this entire season, so he's going to continue being questionable, which I don't understand.
We got a comment here from Kevin Stearns correlating the definition of insanity to Thibs' use of Alec Burks at point guard.
Yeah, like it's insanity at this point. I don't
Yeah.
understand how you could look at this team and go, Alec Burks is the best point guard for this team, especially when quickly has put together two solid games back to back. He had a really good game Sunday. He had a really solid game again today, and it's like he's starting to trend up. I feel like you should reward him if you're the coach. I tweeted about it earlier. I was like, look at Maxi. Like Maxi wasn't really in the rotation last year, but this year he came out. He was starting point guard. He got those reps. He got those reps he needed to get. He was given freedom to experiment. They basically told him, okay, you're going to play 30, 32 minutes a game, guaranteed. And when Embiid was out, he's playing 35, 38 minutes a game, and he was producing. And quickly has never gotten that leash. Like
Never.
he never gotten that. Like he starts maybe one or two games a season, even though he's been largely productive. He's been the best guard the last 2 years, aside from like Rose, and Rose has been hurt. So like quickly has been performing. I get he's been slumping now, but it's like he's young, and it's really only been the shot that's off.
And the slumping is probably a result of lack of confidence that the coaching staff is not showing, or at least Tibbs is not showing in him, because the amount of opportunities he had to start him throughout the year, especially when COVID struck the team, he
Yeah,
continued to bring him off the bench. Like that just shows that you don't have confidence in him to be
yeah,
able to take over that role. And like imagine what that does to him over time.
right. Kemba comes out and starts, and like I get it, first game of the season, Kemba starting. He's your big investment, sure. Then they bench Kemba, and then Alec Burks is starting, and then Kemba plays his way back into the rotation, starts again, and then Alec Burks is starting again, and it's like quickly throughout that time, especially like in December, or like when Kemba wasn't playing, Burks is your starting point guard, and quickly's out here putting up like 41% from three, and like 11 points per game. I just it doesn't make sense. At this point, like you're looking for a solution at point guard, and like you have solutions on the roster, and for some reason you won't play them.
Yeah, and it's gotten to the point of the season where like the games obviously they're not going to result in winning, so you just got to try whatever you can at this point. Just throw something at the wall, see if it sticks. And like him not being able to do that just like is like totally discouraging, and it leads to the fan base wanting to fire him, as we see like every single day, especially from
Yeah.
Vivek. I share the same sentiments, Vivek. Um, I've been on that train for a minute now because I've seen some trends starting early in the season that I just knew weren't going to go away. And if you have a coach that's going to be this restricting, like it's just not going to help the development of the team. We have too many young guys for the first time in franchise history that are worth investing in, that like we cannot afford to have a coach that's going to um be a detriment to them.
Yeah. I can't understand the logic right now. And like there doesn't seem like this we lose this game by how much ever we lose it by. I think we lost it by 15 again. After we lost I think by like 14 or 15 again. And it's like you learned nothing. Like you learned that RJ Barrett is good, but like you knew RJ Barrett was good coming in. Fantastic.
Exactly.
But like you haven't learned anything else aside from like have you learned how quickly plays with RJ and Randall like for an extended period of time? Have you seen anything with like Deuce? Have you given Deuce any run? Have you seen like Obi at the five? Have you tried anything else aside from like RJ gets 30 minutes and like quickly and Obi are tethered to the bench?
Yeah.
No. So like at this point you're just wasting games and you're not even winning them. And it's like at some point something has to change. But I don't think it's going to change, and that begs the question: if he's not going to change, and you can see these results happening, and you're just wasting your time with a bunch of these young players on the team, then why will he? Why should he still be here?
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. Ace Bouchard, I believe that is, with I think what Thibs is thinking is, especially on nights like this, solid 2 for 11 night for Burks in 31 minutes, bad 4 for 7 night for Quickly in 20 minutes. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it felt. It's just like at that point, I don't know how quickly just give quickly the run. Just give quickly the run. Let him do what he needs to do. Like I don't understand how he only plays 20 minutes and Burks is playing 30.
um, oh, we have a quote here. Thanks, Zach in the comments. From Berman, Thibodeau was asked about current point guard situation after the game, and he said that's the best we have.
I don't understand that logic. Like, there's no way you look at Deuce McBride right now or Emmanuel Quickly. Hell, Ryan Arcidiacono. I don't give a fuck. Like, try something different. Like, try something else. And it's just the stubbornness is what's going to get him fired. And it's like, how does everybody else see that except for him?
He's
Like,
like,
and if he's not going to get fired, he's going to get really close to being fired because everybody knows that Johnny Bryant's waiting in the wings.
yeah.
So I don't know if he thinks he has job security. I don't know if he thinks this is like legitimately the best point, like the best way to run the team. And if he thinks this is the best way to run the team, then you should not be running the team. Hi, Chris.
What's up, Chris? Thanks for tuning in. I do want to get into some at least like more positive takeaways, I guess, or like just general takeaways in general. One thing that I think most of the fan base really enjoyed from tonight's game was the RJ Cam IQ Obi minutes. Like
Yeah.
that was like some really fast paced, like exciting basketball that we're not used to seeing with all of the young players that we're supposed to be investing in for the future. And like I just really like the synergy that that group had together. Like
Mm-hmm.
you saw RJ passing the ball really well. You saw Cam's defensive intensity and like him being able to hit shots off the catch. You saw IQ and OB still working with their synergy that they have. So it's like it's just a lot of stuff that was working really well. And it's not polished, obviously, because Dibs is not giving them the proper run, but it was nice to see these initial inklings of
Yeah.
success.
Yeah, like I think especially Cam kind of stood out to me today. And you and I both are not Cam Reddish fans, to put it lightly. But I liked his activity on defense. I liked the way like he was just everywhere. Like he only played I think he played like 23 minutes today, but like he was everywhere. Like he was getting in passing lanes. He was like breaking up actions. He was doing the little things. Like he has some good hit around passes. Just really good anticipation, showing really solid feel, and it's like it's encouraging. Like you could see the development's already happening. He looks a lot more. I think he reads the game better than he did in Atlanta, which is good for his development. He had 5 fouls, which is like not the best, but at the same
But
time, it's
like
like
we're playing against Philly too, so it's like everyone was
yeah,
gonna get some type of foul trouble, like at one
yeah,
point or
yeah,
another.
because like they have the two worst whistles in the league by far. So
And like when someone's as a tenacious as a defender as he is, as a like there was one moment where I saw he was guarding Harden and he poked the ball away from him a couple times. So I
right,
didn't whistle him for a reach and foul, but like he's just like he's tenacious on that end. And we saw with Frank when he was here, he didn't get a friendly whistle either. So it's just like
yeah,
when you're that tenacious of a defender, the whistle is really isn't really going to be in your favor, especially if you don't have that rapport with the refs.
right. But like
Um, yeah, go
But
ahead.
he, yeah, but like him being able to like make stuff happen was like really encouraging. He's been hitting his twos as well, which I find to be like really promising. Like, because his big thing was like finishing around the basket was poor. You knew that the shot would be at least serviceable, but like even if the shot hasn't been there fully, like his ability to like get to the basket and finish through contact, especially like his smoothness, he is so smooth. Like the Euro step we saw at like last game, just like he looks confident when he's handling the ball, and it's encouraging. I think it's like really encouraging for him. I think it's encouraging for the Knicks.
Yeah, they spent
Um,
the first round pick on him. They got to
right,
like you got to see some fruits of that.
right.
Um, let's go. Let me go on to the rest of my notes. Obviously, RJ continuing to impress. Another 30-point game. Um, I mean, what else can you say at this point? Dude's been awesome since like he's
January.
really got his legs under him after he was sick and then he had COVID and then he came back. So he's really finally got his legs under him and you're seeing the consistency. So yeah, I mean that's been really encouraging and can't heap as you can't heap any more praise if you want to, I guess. But
Like I just think he's looked so in control. Like since January, it's like he's getting to the line like 6 times a game plus. He looked really confident as a passer today. Um,
seven assists,
right.
really nice.
You saw him like getting up there with like the pull up shooting that was coming around as well. I think he hit a solid pull up jumper in like the first quarter, like top of the key. Like that one dribble pull up was gonna be so it could be huge for him, especially coming off like screens and curls. You could just see him like getting confidence and growing more. And the refs are finally giving him the whistle that he's needed for like 3 years. And I think he's starting to pull it all together now. Because like that whistle was rough. That whistle was rough.
Yo, you had to like close. You had to be RJ had to get clothesline to basically get like a half decent whistle. Now it's just like he gets to the cup and it's like almost automatic at this point, which is
Yeah,
like
so like he's giving
really
you a good
encouraging.
he's giving you 6 free throws minimum a game, which is like very encouraging for his development. Um, I think we could talk about Julius as well. Like I think Julius played within himself.
There were
Like
some moments that did piss me off in this game though.
right.
Like there was some passing moments where it was just like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
And
but at
it's
the same
like,
time, it's like this team looks so disjointed right now. Like I don't know how much you could blame that on him because
yeah,
but like you saw kind of how that pair would work. It's like Julius doesn't need to be the 25 point per game scorer he was last year. He can be like a solid 20, 21 point per game scorer, and Archie can be like that 25 point per game scorer if you really needed him to. And they can just work well off each other. And like Julius can break down defenses and draw doubles and like create opportunities for the tilted floor for RJ, and RJ can get him in the pick and roll and get Julius the ball. And it's like those guys can work together. Those guys are capable, like both of being productive. They just need somebody else in the lineup who can like stabilize it. And when they need like extra help like running the offense, they do need that point guard. They need that penetration and that rim pressure. And I feel like once they have it, and probably a more creative coach who could like get them in space,
Tuh.
and who can like get them like um trips to the basket like untouched. Like they need somebody like this team needs to play small at some points. Like you cannot play two bigs 48 minutes a game. It makes no sense, especially when like RJ and Randall are like not the best finishers in the world and they're not overly athletic. So like there needs to be some chances for them for like Randall at the five and like RJ at the four and just like let them create in space. But
Y- You're only you're. I mean, the players are on the ones on the court, as I've said like multiple times. But like with a coach as uncreative as Thibs is, it's just like so hard to like really expect
yeah,
much more out of this team. Like one play that stuck out to me that I have in my notes. IQ got a shot clock violation. I saw a lot of people railing on him, and I'm just like, it's like, look at the Knicks offense. Like no one was moving, no one was cutting at that time. Like they just gave him the ball, and everyone just stood there and stared. And
yeah, it's like it's a 1-4 flat, and they're just like, okay, make shit happen. And it's like
you can't
sometimes,
do that.
yeah, like he's not Harden. Like I get he's
Yeah,
playing against Harden, but like you don't expect him able quickly to come out there and just go like, I bet I'm going to manipulate the defense to the point where like I'm going to create these windows, and it's like he doesn't have that kind of cachet as like a ball handler yet. And maybe that comes with time, but like you got to give him a reps and b like the opportunity to like make plays happen. And with that, you need spacing. And if like the two bigs that you're playing all the time aren't giving you spacing, try to inject some wings in the lineup because your wings can go up. The wings can guard up. Like RJ can guard up to fours. Cam can guard up to fours. Grimes can guard up to threes. I don't understand why we just like insist on playing two bigs all the time.
Schwinn with the comment saying he also doesn't have that cachet because he's not named Alec Burks. That is
That's true.
also
That
very,
is very
very
true.
true. If you are
Unfortunately,
not Alec Burks or over the age of 30, I mean,
Ryan
what
Arcidiacono
purpose do you
is
serve
coming.
in this lineup? But yeah, sticking with Thibs and Burks too. I mean, Burks was like a fan favorite last year because of like his ability to like play well in the clutch and like hit timely shots. And like this year it's like complete opposite. Like this
I
guy
don't know what
can't hit
happened. Like
the
he could
backside of the barn, like
he couldn't hit twos last year, and this year he was like, I'm not hitting twos.
anything. I'm not hitting
Like
anything.
for real. Like I don't get it. But he a free throw merchant and it make no sense. But like I just like you could tell he's so overextended. Like next year he's gonna pop out and be like a solid 11 point per game scorer, like 60 true shooting. And people will be like, why did you trade Burks? And it's like they traded Burks because like Tom Thibodeau thinks he's a point guard for whatever reason.
We got some solid comments here. I don't hate Burks. I hate Thibs for destroying Burks.
Yeah, that's true.
Agreed.
Yeah,
And the issue isn't Burks, it's Thibs' usage of Burks.
I agree.
Exactly. Like
Yeah,
if Burks is being utilized the same way he was being utilized last year, I think the team is way better at this point. Probably also due to some other factors at that point because he's not having to be overextended. But like also it's just like like he was in such a simplified role, like overcomplicating his responsibilities on the offensive end is not working out for him. And like you see it on what you call it, the defensive end too. Because last year I feel like he was like all right defensively. This year I feel like he's a turnstile, and I feel like that's probably due to like fatigue and exhaustion.
I think he was all right this season until like he started starting.
Yeah,
So
like
like the
he's
first
being
20 games, I felt like
overextended.
he was really solid defensively. Like he was getting the passing lanes. He was still winning them games off the bench, and then they like came out and like you're the starter, and he's just like, well, I have to run offense now, and like that takes a lot of work to run offense, especially when like you're not a point guard. So he just seems checked out, and like I can't blame him for being checked out because it's like the dude is getting the dude is being put to start at point guard when he's a bench three. It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Only in New York this would fly, man. Only in New York. Brent from Twitter. What's up, Brent? For such a perceived old school coach, Thibs is a whiny boomer, man. Ducking all accountability. Agreed.
Yeah, I just like at some point as a coach, you have to go. This is my fault. I'm not putting these players in position to succeed.
He's like,
But
oh
like,
no, this is the best we have. Like, what is that? Like,
it's
you're
like, dude,
just throwing
you
your guys under the bus, first of all, because you're saying they're crap, and like you can't do anything with that. And what does that do? What does that say to the players?
exactly like the coach doesn't believe in you, and it's like if you're like if you're Quickly, if you're Obi, why am I going to try for this coach when like he's going to cap me at 20 minutes a game, even though like I'm playing really well? It just feels like he sees the writing on the wall and he's trying to like make it seem like it's not his fault. But like a lot of this is your fault because this is 8/10 of the roster that it was last year. And sure, some people have not been the player that there should have been last year, like Julius. We could talk about Julius all we want to. Like he hasn't been that type of player this year. But at the same time, it's like you have to make do with what you have. Like you thought Quickly is better than he was last year. Has a shot fallen? No, but like
No,
Quickly is definitely better than he was last year as like a ball handler, as a defender, as somebody who could like make decisions. Obi Toppin is better. Grimes has been a revelation. I think Grimes is probably like as good as Burks, if not even a little. Sorry, as good as Bullock was last year, if not a little bit better. Like I get that Derrick Rose isn't in the picture, but like if you are Derrick Rose, like if you're Tibbs and like Derrick Rose, 32-year-old Derrick Rose coming off an
is your
ankle
Lord and
injury,
Savior, like
yeah,
that's an issue.
like if he is the salvation of your season, then like you have a problem. Derrick Rose cannot be like the solution to this problem. Derrick Rose is not going to single-handedly lift this team from 12 games under 500 because if Derrick Rose does that, Derrick Rose is going to lose his other ankle. So it just seems like he's trying to do anything except for like say it's my fault. And I think the accountability thing that we've been hearing about like all season, if the coach can't hold himself accountable, then like nobody else is going to be held accountable.
Exactly. And like the chain of leadership is just automatically destroyed. Schwinn again with another good comment. Thibs has said so many things undermining our players this year. For example, questioned RJ's work ethic, which he later had to walk back. Basically had said that now that Quickly Induce sucks so much that they can't get a shot over Burks. Compared Obi to backup QB syndrome. Said young players struggle to close games, which is why we're blowing leads, even though he was riding vets. Said playing guys for development purposes is a bullshit idea, etc. I
At this
mean,
point, like he's not going to be an NBA coach next year. Like he's probably just going to be like I think
he
this might be
needs
it for him.
he needs to go to college. If he has this mentality,
Yeah,
like he just needs to go to college where he's gonna ride like 8 guys, the top 8 guys on the team, and just like
yeah.
go
Like
for it like that.
this feels like him throwing a tantrum because like he kind of knows that like he might not be here next year, and he's going to try to blame the roster construction. And like this is 8/10 of the roster that you were the fourth seed with at 41-31 and 10 games above 500. You cannot blame the roster that much. I'm sorry. Like you should not. If you're like a game or two under 500 at this point, all right, I can understand it. Fine, whatever. The East got better this year. Nobody expected you to be 5 games, like 10 games over 500 like last year. But to be 12 games under 500 and to still be this rigid and stubborn, like I think he kind of just knows that okay, maybe this won't be it. This is probably it for me. And if that's how he's going to treat it, then like if you're Leon Rose, you have to like step in like now and just go. We have to salvage the season. We have to like try to sell people on hope, and we need to like give Johnny Bryant like the rest of the season just get his run in.
Agreed. From Chris, thoughts on Mitch tonight? I
It
mean,
was it was fine. Like
I
10.
thought I thought he started off the night slow. He started to pick things up a little bit, and then he ended the night with how many fouls did he end the night with?
4.
He ended with like 4, and a couple of the fouls. It's like tonight matchups versus Embiid are gonna be
Yeah,
really
like,
tricky in
I'm not been
general.
like he was okay.
But
Like
he's been a tad bad recently, but he did have a recent stretch where he was on a tear. So it's like
yeah,
it's been a roller coaster season for Mitch, and like in a contract year, that's not the most ideal thing, and like it hasn't been good. So like
I mean
I'm just gonna
like
say that.
he's a league average center playing like a league average center. Like I'm not expecting him to be a superstar. I'm not expecting him to be like
And he's
significantly
good, and
polished.
the money that he's gonna demand this offseason isn't probably gonna be that much, to be honest,
Yeah,
the way
like
he's playing right now.
he'll get a second contract. He'll be starting for like maybe a year or two after this. We'll see what happens. Like, and maybe he won't be on the team, but like whatever contract he gets this offseason, he'll get like 10 million, 12 million. Like that's fine. Like I'm not like too upset either way. Like, yeah, like, if they want to get Daniel Gafford or like a Raquan Holmes, who cares? But like,
Um
is Mitch worth his money? Sure.
Vivek, we are the easiest team to game plan against. We can give up a lead knowing that a slight adjustment will throw the team off. I mean, just watch the team when a team just watch the Knicks when a team throws zone at them. It's just like they're deer in the headlights. Like
Yeah, it's been 2 years of like not being able to beat zones.
and like okay, you could blame the players, but like who game plans for the players to be able to counter certain
Coaching, like
coverages that they see.
this just feels like a lot on coaching. Like the coaching has just significantly regressed, and because like the players are more dynamic than they were last year, like Tibbs doesn't know what to do because I feel like unless you're in a certain role, he won't utilize you outside that role, and it's like, dude, you have to use players differently. And now it's like he's using RJ Moore as like a playmaker. He he finally got to like using RJ Moore as a playmaker and as a driver like 2 months ago, and it was because he was forced to because COVID hit the team. Like I just don't understand the logic in not being able to like adjust on the fly as a coach, especially when you look around the league and you see like all these coaches adjusting in game, adjusting like between games. Like you'll see them like throw out a bunch of different lineups, and it's like you look at Ty Lue, and Ty Lue's like doing shit with scraps right now, and Tom Thibodeau has had his roster like for the better part of 2 years now, and he is still trying to like. Is Emmanuel quickly a point guard? Is Obi Toppin just a simple four? Julius Ice, and it's just
He's
like,
he's doing so much basic stuff, and it's just like you see the lineups. When I watch Clippers games, I'm just like looking at all these different lineups that Ty Lue is just
bro,
throwing out there.
Ty
He's
Lue be
just
throwing shit at the wall and it be working.
exactly, and that's all I want to see from a coach. That you trying to do
Yeah,
something to see if it works, so you can win.
yeah,
And
like
like,
you see Spoelstra, you see Ty Lue, you see all these guys, like you see Bickerstaff. Like the fact that Bickerstaff has came in, like Bickerstaff was a joke last season. He took his time, he adjusted, like he got some better personnel around him, sure, but like Bickerstaff as a coach has like really developed, and you just look at Tips and you're just like, I know what I'm getting tonight. I know what I'm getting tonight. I know how the rotation is gonna go. It's like you look at the clock and you're like, okay, well, okay, 1 minute left. Let's see, 7 minutes left in the quarter. All right, first substitution. Mitch is gonna sit down for Sims. Like if I as like a casual watcher know your rotations, that's bad. Like I
if I
should
know
not know.
if I know when the team is gonna fold, that's bad.
Exactly. I was like, okay, they just gave up 5 straight points. They're losing this game. Like as soon as the Sixers came out and Embiid hit 5 straight points, I'm like, all right, that's their gut punch, and they don't have a counter.
Nope, that's it. That's it, and it's sad. We got some other comments here I want to highlight. The only reason Thibs staggered RJ and Randall a bit against Philly is because he was matching RJ's minutes with Harden's. So basically, Doc made him look better than he normally does, which is bad. I mean, Doc Rivers is gonna make any other coach look better than him. So
We
like,
wait for the playoffs. We wait for the playoffs. We get our takes off in May.
we got Chris here with we needed Thibs in New York and don't anymore. The people that Victor lap him being bad because they wanted Kenny are so lame.
Stand the fuck up.
Agreed.
Stand the fuck up, dude. It's been 2 years. Let it go. Let it fucking go. It's Kenny Atkinson. It's not Jesus Christ. Bro, we act like it's Jerry Sloan. We talking like him like he's Phil Jackson. Like,
Yeah,
dog.
people gotta chill on Kenny. They act like they moving like he's Pac right now. Like
Bro, they think he's Pop. They think he's fucking Pop. I don't get it. Bro, Kenny Atkinson can't even fucking hold his back together. What makes you think Kenny Atkinson was going to fucking hold this team together, bro? Like, come on. At some point, we just got to realize that Kenny Atkinson is okay like, he's an okay coach. But I swear to God, there are like at least 10 coaches in the league as good as Kenny Atkinson right now. And there's probably one on our bench right now who's probably going to be the head coach. So people need
yeah,
to get off the fucking, Kenny Atkinson train. Like, do you think Kenny Atkinson last year is winning 41 fucking games with Alfred Payton? No. No, he won 42 with D'Lo, who's a fucking all-star. Like, for all the shit we want to give Tibbs this year, last year, Tibbs was in his fucking Birkin.
yeah. I
And,
mean, he was the perfect guy to like set the culture
yeah,
and like he set the table. So like now he can
he,
dip.
he set the table way too fast. And, like, that's probably the only time that's been a bad thing. But, like, I think last year people were like, okay, maybe you make the play in. Like maybe like we're the Hornets from like last year. Where it's like we make the play in as like the ninth seed, and like no, it's good, whatever. And like maybe this year we're like fifth or sixth, And then like we fired Tibbs after like 2 years because we're just like, okay, we're ready to take the leap. He took the leap a year too early. It is what it is. But now it's just at this point, you're just gonna go, all right, well, you aren't growing as a coach. The team is starting to resent you. You see players like starting to leak to the media, and when players start leaking to the media, that's when you know shit is hitting the fan. Like the front office leaking against Tibbs, Tibbs leaking at the front office, and you know Tibbs leaking at the front office because fucking Berman is putting out reports. When Berman is putting out reports on Leon Rose, it's literally Tibbs going, "I don't like this dude." So, like Scott Perry's trying to leak now to make it seem like it wasn't his fault. Tibbs is starting to leak. The players are starting to leak. The front office is starting to leak, and it's like now everybody's leaking, trying to like throw pot shots at each other because everybody's fucking upset and mad. And it's like at some point you just gotta go. This doesn't work anymore.
We got Brent from Twitter. Kenny ain't even the best coach that got fired. Dave Yeager had Sacramento look
Yeah,
half decent and win games and got fired for it.
legitimately, Dave Yeager right now will probably be a better coach than Kenny Atkinson.
Probably. I mean, he implemented an offense at Sacramento that worked to the players' strengths,
Boy
and
got
that's what you want to see.
Buddy Hield got $94 million because Dave Yeager took a chance on him. He gave that man generational wealth, and you tell me right now that Kenny Atkinson is somehow going to make water out of wine? Schwinn, Schwinn, shut the fuck up. I beg you. I
But
beg you.
yeah, I mean, like that's all you want to see from a coach. Just implement something that works to the players' like strengths, and like, I mean, Dibs isn't doing that, and like everybody's hurting as a result of it. I mean, minus RJ. RJ's like willing through it, so
Like, I just don't understand how like he sees Tib like Obi has shot fucking 3 for 22 from three since January. And the first play of the game, what do you see? Obi Toppin, hands on his knees in the fucking corner. Like, you could give him like a 4 minute stretch at center. Like that's certainly possible.
it won't hurt. We're not trying to win games anymore, Dibs. Like I just don't understand what doesn't get through his
I,
head.
I, I just don't understand. Like, just give him a couple bones. Just give him like give your players a couple bones a game just to like get them feeling themselves. Like
Yeah.
the fact that you have to like you have to grind and struggle for every single bucket you get. It gets grating. Like it's frustrating to like have to play in the set, or it's like we don't. Yes, I'm black. I'm
That's
black,
why is everyone so shocked to find out that you're black?
bro. I say nigga on Twitter like every fucking day. How do you not think I'm black? I guess I don't show my face, but like yeah, I'm black.
But yeah, I mean, like Obi just doesn't like he doesn't. Here's the thing, like with him and IQ, they're not utilized to like their best capabilities because of the way Thibs coaches. And like,
Yeah,
if Thibs were like, if we had Ty Lue as coach, imagine the type of lineups we would see.
like
We
they
would,
would like we see like four wings and like a guard. We'd see like
we'd see like IQ with like Cam Reddish and RJ and Grimes with Obi at the 5. Like that's the type of lineups I think we would see.
yeah, like you see a lot more diversifying lineups. You see like a lot more front court lineups. I think you probably see more like Randall, Cam. You'd see Obi, RJ. Yeah, put Obi and Douglas Park playing alongside Randall. That would work too. It's just there are so many ways you can make shit work here. Because like I still think this is a deep team, regardless of like circumstances. Like this team has like 13 players who are capable of playing. Like just throw some shit out there. And if some
Yeah.
shit doesn't work, it doesn't work. That's fine. But like the whole point of the regular season is to like test yourself, is to figure out things that do work in the future. And like I get the importance of the regular season is just it's just too high, and you're not even winning. So like if you're not even winning, what do you gain from this?
You don't gain anything, just like Thibs having um I don't even know what Thibs gains from this either. Like we're not winning, and that's what he wants to do. It does like is he satisfied just like tossing out the same lineups and not seeing any difference in results? Like I just don't get it. Like what's not clicking? Or
I
like
mean,
does he have dementia at this point? Is that what it is? Like because I that's the only thing that makes sense in my head at this point.
yeah, I just there's no way he's thinking like Derek comes back, We're gonna go on a run. 10th seed is ours. And if that's his mindset, then like, what are we doing here? So,
Yeah. Before we close out, do want to have a little look ahead. So we obviously have Phoenix on Friday. That's another national televised game. I don't know why
bro,
they don't flex our
bro,
games at this point,
bro,
but
like, come on, dude.
that's just the way things are rolling now. We do have the Clippers on Sunday at crypto.com arena. I'm not expecting that to be a win either, sadly. The Clippers, they just toss out a whole bunch of different lineups and just like try to confuse the hell out of you. And shout out Ty Lue for what he's doing over there. Has them competing without Paul George, Kawhi, um,
Norm Powell.
Norm Powell, like the three main gunslingers over there. They're not they don't have them. So he's still he still has them in a position to win games. Then we got Sacramento at the Golden One Center on Monday. So it's a back-to-back on the West Coast. Smells like trouble for the Knicks. That's not a good spot to be in.
Yeah, we might go like 2-7 this entire trip. We
Then we
gonna
got
lock up like
Dallas. Then we got
gonna lock
Dallas at
up.
American Airlines Center.
Julius goes up for like 40 because he's playing at home. So
Maybe, but like I feel like the last year Magic was part of the reason why that happened as well.
yeah, but yeah, I could probably see it. We could see it.
Then we go to Ja Morant and the Grizzlies at FedEx Forum.
We gonna see RJ hoop.
Speaking of which, what the I've been seeing something about on ESPN. They asked RJ about like how he feels about like how Ja's playing. Like, why does that matter? Like, why is ESPN asking him that?
Bro, I don't get how like RJ has been putting up like 30 plus points for like a minute now, and somehow the dude
That
just can't get a little bit of shine.
asking him about the guy that got drafted ahead. I'm like, okay, he's playing
Okay,
well, but like, so am I. Like,
yeah, like RJ's been in his shit. I just RJ's doing his thing.
and he's
Like,
not getting any love from what you call it.
and if he was playing like this entire season, he would have been right there. If Chris Middleton can make the fucking All Star team, like you give fucking
Andrew Wiggins made the All Star team, bro. Like,
bro,
granted, that's Golden State tax and like K-pop tax, but like, still.
we was like, bro, it was nasty. They was using K-pop to get votes, bro. We're losing recipes. We're losing so many recipes. Like Dame tried doing that same shit. Like, come on now, man.
Yeah, it's bad out here. Then we go to Brooklyn, Barclays Center. I'm
KD
not
back.
Katie's back, but like no Kyrie because it's the Barclays Center and the
It
vax
depends.
mandate is still not really all the way there.
We'll
No
see what
Ben
Eric Gordon.
Simmons because he's
Yeah.
week to week now, as they say.
Well,
And
we put an A.
but but then we got Portland at Madison Square Garden.
We
We
gonna
know
lose again.
Portland. We know Portland's not to mess with, because we just blew a 23-point lead to them in their house. So
Not to mention that you've been blowing a bunch of leads. Like you've blown 20-point leads, and somehow they blew another double-digit lead again today. And
this is
somehow,
grade A tanking.
bro, they
Grade
want.
A tanking.
If we get Jaden Ivey, it's all worth it. Like we not watching the Knicks no more. We watching March Madness.
Oh, you already know.
Oh, we tapped in, and we betting.
But
FanDuel gonna see me.
yep. And like those are the next. That's our next road trip, including that one game at Madison Square Garden, leading up to the middle of March. That's all we have for today. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the first ever Run.down here over at the Strickland on YouTube. We will definitely be back Friday at like around maybe 12:30 or whenever the game finishes to give you some quick thoughts, see what happens in that game, and we'll go from there. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and we're out of here.